All right, Brooklyn, let's take a look at your paper. MLA format first. This is good. This is good. In cold blood. I like it. I don't, and I even like how it ties into the first part of your paper. Um, it doesn't, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily tie thematically into the paper, but we'll keep it. We'll call it good. All right, so you start by, help me, a soldier on the battlefield cries out. Now, I like this idea, and I even like where you're going with it, but I bet you could reorganize this first part because you get into this, which I think is a much more powerful image. Now, being blown up is a little bit crass as far as a description, so you might want to fix that. But I like the idea of starting with maybe think of a horrific image on the battlefield, okay? And then tie that into when the soldier comes home, they are never the same psychologically. Now, reading through your introduction, you say, and it's a pretty long, it's a page introduction here, which you can write a long introduction and call it good, but I think you repeat this statement 3 times, that when they come home, they're never really the same. And after a while, it gets a little redundant here. So, all right. So it's a case with Macbeth, and here's a sentence like this: Macbeth was the war hero of his time. You can throw that sentence out. You don't need it in the introduction. He was determined to do anything to win. I would reword that. He was determined to do anything to win. Being in battle, he witnessed many horrifying sights, some done by his own hand. So this is a sentence fragment. So you got to do something with that. And then this is and this is where something like this, maybe you put that right after, do the modern thing, then say Macbeth witnessed such things on the battle in the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Macbeth witnessed such things as well. Then do this, and then say when the soldiers return home from events like this, they're never the same. Something like that. Like I said, I just think you just need to reorganize this body paragraph a little bit to streamline it a little bit. There's the second time you've said this. He was no longer the same. No comma here. Now, post-traumatic stress disorder, you don't have to capitalize any of that. So PTSD is fine from here on out. As you do that, and even in the thesis statement, you can do that. Good job using your outside source. He straggled off the beaten path and brought his psychological predicaments home with him, which is good. But again, that's the 3rd time you've really stated that. You go through all the main points, which is good. You let him take over his life, and he was no longer a civilized human being. Now, I might have a problem with this because I don't know what you're really going to say in the body other than he doesn't sound like a civilized human being. So we'll see. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a tab as we move into your first body paragraph. All right, here we go with another paragraph that we can probably cut down a little bit. But this one, you're really going to want to think about how it's presented. You need a stronger topic sentence at the beginning that really tells me where you're going with this particular paragraph, because this is about memories, which end up being hallucinations. Okay, so I got that. That's a pretty prevalent idea in Macbeth. They see things that appear real but are created by the mind. They can affect all 5 of the senses. Now, your example for this, up to this point, is him seeing the witches. So are you saying the witches aren't real and that they gave him these prophecies as hallucinations? Because Banquo also sees the witches and hears the witches. So are you also saying Banquo was part of this as well? I mean, they do talk about, have we eaten on the insane root? But I don't know if this really is your support for hallucinations, because then you try to say, Macbeth was delusional when he was coming home from battle. Then his prophecy had been twisted in his head. So his prophecy, I don't know what that, you got to clean that up a little bit. The sheer thought of killing his friend had brought about the symptoms of hallucination. But you're telling me he had hallucinations. Oh, maybe this is, sorry, now you're getting into the dagger here. So this is about the dagger. Okay. So imagine a dagger lead him to the chamber. You have too many spaces here. You have too many spaces here. Just be careful of those space issues here. You have too many spaces here. So anyways, so now we're getting to the dagger. So clean up that whole prophecy thing, because I'm not sure exactly where you're going with that. I like the idea of the battles had given him PTSD, but the killing Duncan had exploded his symptoms. He was power hungry, would kill whoever he had to. So obviously that needs to be cleaned up as well. Oh, by the way, I don't know, my spell check doesn't even do it, but that is definitely not how you spell prophecies. So you might want to go back and fix that too. The effects cause an augmented reality from both the battle and the killing of the king. The illness, too many spaces, took over, and Macbeth did little to stop it. Now, let's go back to your thesis. He was no longer a civilized human being. How does this paragraph present that? What have you done to elaborate on that particular sentence? And I would argue that you haven't done much. So you really got to go back to that thesis statement. You have a lot of good quote analysis, but you just haven't tied it very well together to your thesis yet. We got to make it all cohesive. All right, so your next body paragraph is about paranoia. Again, we need a stronger topic sentence. I don't think this one works as a strong topic sentence. So probably your biggest problem with this one, Brooklyn, is I just feel like this paragraph is all over the place. You're talking about lots of different concepts. Because this, like even organizationally, this is like more of a transition sentence up here. So just be careful with where you have this information. So you also have a lot of short, choppy sentences in here, which you can't use short, choppy sentence, which is fine. But it's almost like whenever you use a short, choppy sentence, it doesn't add anything to the paper. He can no longer think logically. Like he let his paranoia get the best of him. Where was the one I just saw? He was on guard constantly. The realm of reality no longer lived inside Macbeth, which is a good statement. But then look at your next statement. He was going crazy with all the things going on around him. He decided to focus on one thing, and that was the throne. Like, how does this tie into the thesis? Like, where are you going with this? He started off killing his dear friend Duncan, then on to Banquo, who he killed out of paranoia. I mean, you're reverting back to what you've already said. We already talked about Duncan quite a bit. And the paranoia comes with just him wanting to keep his throne, which is important, but then you're veering off the path to something else. Anyways, this is a run-on sentence here. He had turned into a monster. Now, this is getting closer to your thesis, at least, so that's on the right track. I just think we need to go strong topic sentence, explain the symptom, explain how Macbeth has a symptom. Let me have 3 sentences of really good summary, transition or more, transition into the next body paragraph. Okay, follow that order and try to make it in that order. And it looks like it's in that order, but I feel like there's a lot of sentences that are just getting off track. Just try to stay, on track. Try to have strong transition statements into the next sentence to make sure you're staying on track as well. All right, so we need a strong transition topic sentence as well, so fix that. I didn't say this earlier, but when you have parentheses inside parentheses, they become brackets. We haven't got to that lesson yet in DOL, but you need to look at that as well. I want to go back real quick. I forgot to mention this too. Banquo had no tie to the throne. That's a lie. His kids were supposed to become kings. So technically, all future kings were supposed to come from Banquo's seed, if you will. So he did have a tie to the throne, so be careful with that. All right, so we're going to look at negative changes in thinking or mood. And this is probably your strongest paragraph for tying in the thesis. You do have a lot of punctuation errors in here, and even, again, word choice. But now he was on his own. What part of the book are you talking about? His murder of Duncan was conceived with his wife, but now he was on his own. So you want to say, but by the end of the book, he became isolated, basically. He didn't discuss the murders with her. He did whatever he wanted. Again, this is a worthless statement. It doesn't add anything to the actual topic. This is a no comma there. I like that he calls him think negatively about himself and the world around him, and I like this example. He was going to die. She was going to die anyway. Had taken over his life, and he was the illness's puppet. That's a really good line. It created a new Macbeth. So here's your thesis getting tied in, which is awesome. A new Macbeth, comma, one who cared for no one. Now you talk about rage in here, but you didn't really talk about rage as part of any of these main points. I would not dwell too much on that. And again, taking over his life then ultimately led to his demise. Not a bad ending statement there. And your trend of short, choppy sentences continue in here, Brooklyn. Organizationally, you have everything that you need. We'll talk about the clincher in just a second. But again, look at all these short, choppy sentences that you have in here. I mean, really, a sentence per body paragraph, but make it a really complex, complete sentence. Don't just, he felt nothing. The strongest she had was rage. He was a shelly, I don't know. This is your clincher here. And I just think it's weak. It's not creative. You're just kind of repeating things that you've said over and over again. So just be careful. Be careful also with comma conjunctions. As far as making sure that like this one doesn't need to be there. Only a comma conjunction. We have two independent thoughts on each side, and this one's not independent. This looks like everything is correct except this is out of order. So make sure that you add Shakespeare in here alphabetically. Other than that, everything is good on your works cited page. All right, lots of good things, Brooklyn. We just got a few things to clean up, tying that thesis in, sentence structure wise, making that better. So hopefully we'll see a rewrite out of you.